Hello everyone, welcome back to another daily kinematics problem. Today we'll be going over question 16 in the MIT AP Physics 1 workbook. That will be in the description down below for you guys to follow along. With that being said, let's go on with the question. It says that the graph above shows the velocity v as a function of time t for an object moving in a straight line. Which of the following graphs shows the corresponding displacement x as a function of time t for the same time intervals? And then down below we have our displacement graphs. So what I would recommend you guys doing is just first off ignoring all the answer choices, because doing that we're going to try to persuade ourselves to choose the wrong answer. The main reason I say that is because we were told up here an object moving in a straight line. An object in a straight line, that means that the object can only go forward and it can only go backwards. And if it goes backwards, that means it has a negative displacement. So with that knowledge, we can go and look at our velocity versus time graph and see what the data is. So here first we can see that the velocity versus time graph has a positive constant velocity. And since velocity is the derivative of position versus time graph, that means the position versus time graph is going to have a curved slope. And if it has a curved slope, that means that the object is increasing as time increases. The amount of distance it covers increases as time increasing, meaning that this portion of the displacement graph would most likely have a curved, some sort of curve here. Next up, we have over here this section, we have a straight line, so a zero velocity. And a zero velocity does not mean that there's a zero displacement. It doesn't mean that the object has stopped moving. A zero velocity means that the object is now moving at a constant speed. And since the object is moving at a constant speed, instead of having the curve shape as we had earlier, it's going to just have a straight linear line, because the slope is going to be constant, so it's going to not be increasing, it's going to be going the same distance as time increases. So that means going on, we would have some sort of straight line like this. And then lastly, we have this portion which is a down, so it is a constant negative slope. And as we said at the beginning, a constant slope means that the graph is going to be curved. The position versus time graph is going to be curved. But in this case, since it's negative, it's going to be curved the same as the positive, but it's going to be curved the other direction, is going to be curved downwards. And since it's going to be curved downwards, and it's not that much of a time that's curved downwards, we're going to notice that it's going to go down a little bit. It's going to curve a little bit down, but not aggressively like a linear, but it's going to curve a little down. Now looking at our answer choices, we need to find something that matches up at least pretty similar to the graph we've drawn up here. If we look at choice A is sort of a copy of the velocity versus time graph, and here we can see that the displacement doesn't change. And since we said earlier that just because the velocity is at a constant does not mean the velocity is changing. The slope of the velocity is zero, but as you can see, the velocity has a value. So that means that it's going to still keep moving. So that's why choice A is incorrect, because it has this stationary moment that does not occur. And looking at choice B, it's the exact same thing. But the thing about choice B is at least it has this curve shape for that constant velocity, showing us that there is that slope in the velocity adding onto it. Choice C and choice D are very similar, the only difference being the ending and how aggressive the curves are. See, choice C curves are kind of aggressive, but the good thing about it is it does curve upwards and it does become constant. But then here we can see that it continues to curve upwards, and instead of curving upwards, we want it to curve downwards. And here we can see in choice D, it starts to curve downwards, that negative portion. As I said, it's not going to be as aggressive as it should be as the linear, but since it's going to be that parabola kind of shape, it's going to start curving slowly. And here we can see here in the middle, it's going to be constant line that is constant, and here we can see it starts to slope upwards. So I guess you could technically see here in choice C, it doesn't really curve upwards as we were expecting. Instead, it starts to curve downwards, which is another sign of it being incorrect. And with that being said, that leads us to choice D as our correct answer. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything that didn't make sense or you'd like me to go more in depth in, please comment down below and I'd love to respond to it. I hope you guys continue your prepping and remember to enjoy life.